The voice of God calls us to awaken in Him. How will He find us when He comes?
Awake and ready.
And when He asks us to dedicate our lives even more perfectly, how will He find us?
Awake and ready.
Let's begin with the prayer. Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
Friend, beloved God,
Friend, beloved God,
Great Masters,
Great Masters,
Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ,
Babaji Krishna,
Babaji Krishna,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Swami Shri Yukteswar,
Swami Shri Yukteswar,
beloved Guru,
beloved Guru,
Paramahansa Yogananda,
Paramahansa Yogananda,
Saints of all religions,
Saints of all religions,
Friend and Guide Swami Kriyananda,
Friend and Guide Swami Kriyananda,
joyfully and humbly we bow at Thy feet.
joyfully and humbly we bow at Thy feet.
O Divine Mother,
O Divine Mother,
teach us to live in the eternal now,
teach us to live in eternal now,
with joy and enthusiasm.
with joy and enthusiasm.
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
hold our hands
hold our hands
and guide our lives,
and guide our lives,
and walk us back
and walk us back
to home in Thee.
to home in Thee.
O Divine Master,
O Divine Master,
teach us to surrender our will
teach us to surrender our will
into Thy divine guided will,
into Thy divine guided will,
and give us the courage
and give us the courage
and understanding
and understanding
to execute Thy will,
to execute Thy will.
for therein lies our happiness.
For therein lies our happiness.
Master,
Master,
help us to feel Your presence
help us to feel Your presence
in our meditations
in our meditations
and throughout the day,
and throughout the day,
in every moment.
in every moment.
Make Make us true channels
Make us true channels.
your love, light, and wisdom,
Of your love, light, and wisdom.
that we may share them
That we may share them
with all whom we meet.
with all whom we meet.
Om. Peace.
Peace.
Amen. Please be seated. We'll have a choir.
No, he's a.
There's joy in the heavens, a smile on the mountains, and melody sings everywhere. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. Leave home in the sunshine, dance through a meadow, or sit by a stream and just be. The lilt of the water will gather your worries and carry them down to the sea. The lilt of the water will gather your worries and carry them down to the sea. Men hunger for freedom, but don't see their dungeon is only the thought that they're bound. Desires are shackles to hope that tomorrow the doorway to joy will be found. Desires are shackles to hope that tomorrow the doorway to joy will be found. There's joy all around us, why wait till tomorrow? We've only this moment to live. A heaven within us is ours for the finding, a freedom no riches can give. A heaven within us is ours for the finding, a freedom no riches can give. There's joy in the heavens, a smile on the mountains, and melody sings everywhere. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air.
take this second chant into our meditation. For those who don't know the words, it's very simple. Door of my heart, open wide, I keep for thee. Wilt thou come, just for once, come to me? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee, night and day.
just for once come to me. Wilt thou come, wilt thou come, just for once come to me. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee, night and day, night and day, I look for thee, night and day. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come, just for once come to me? Wilt thou come, just for once come to me? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee, night and day, night and day, I look for thee, night and day, night and day, I look for thee, night and day, night and day, I look for thee, night and day, night and day, I look for thee, night and day.
Sit up away from the back of the chairs. Gaze uplifted at the point between the eyebrows, palms upturned at the junction of the thighs. Feet rooted firmly on the ground. Spine straight but relaxed. Heart feeling open. Feel the yearning for the divine in your heart. The devotion. Rising like a sweet fragrance from the heart, through the spine, through the medulla, at the point between the eyebrows. A seat of spiritual vision. Offering ourselves there completely. Emptying our body, mind, and spirit at the altar of the infinite. You can mentally say, reveal thyself, O Great Spirit, O Divine Mother, reveal thyself to me. Let's silently meditate for about 2-3 minutes.
continue to meditate. Visualize peace like a weightless waterfall, flowing through your body. Sitting straight, focused at the point of your eyebrows. Uplifted gaze. Feel radiant, positive energy rising up your spine. Flooding the Christ consciousness center. Read from Affirmations for Self-Healing by Swami Kriyananda. Peace of mind. Peace of mind is the result not of money in the bank, but of prayer and meditation. The more one contacts God in meditation, the more he feels descending upon him a blanket, as it were, of inner peace, cooling his body, calming his restless impulses, and thrilling his nerves with ever new delight. Peace is like a weightless waterfall, washing away all worries and bestowing a new glad sense of confidence. Peace of mind is his who knows that God is his only treasury. Let's affirm together, first with a loud voice, and then slowly in a normal voice, then in a whisper, and finally silently with ever more concentration as we repeat this. From pools of inner silence, I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace.
I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace.
From pools of inner silence, I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace.
I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace.
From pools of inner silence, I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace.
I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace.
Silently pulling the vibration of this affirmation into your subconscious and then pushing it into the superconscious with the deepest concentration. From pools of inner silence, I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace. From pools of inner silence, I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace. Please pray with me silently. All that I own is thine, Lord. Help me to know thee as the river of peace, running silently beneath the sands of my life's experiences. All that I own is thine, Lord. Help me to know thee as the river of peace, running silently beneath the sands of my life's experiences. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning service. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers who are here and to all the fathers around the world. And thanks to Heavenly Father for the opportunity today. We're very happy to be here. I'll read from Rays of the One Light. Oh, I'm Arnab and this is Padma, and we're honored to be sharing Master's vibrations today in Sunday service. This is Rays of the One Light, weekly commentaries on the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita by Swami Kriyananda. The eternal now. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. When will I find God? Many devotees have asked this question because worldly goals require time, usually for their fulfillment. We imagine time to be a factor on the spiritual path. And so it is, but only because we think it is. God is as much with us now as he will ever be. It is not he who needs to come to us. We need to come to him. And that process of coming is a matter of transforming our self-perception. In the Gospel of St. John chapter 4, Jesus Christ says, "Say not ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest? Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are white already to harvest." There is a practical teaching in these words, apart from the statement that we have God already and have only to realize that truth. Jesus is saying, lift up your eyes and look. To hold the eyes uplifted is the best position for meditation. For the seat of superconsciousness lies at the point midway between the eyebrows, in the frontal lobe of the brain, just behind that point. That point is also known as the Christ Center. By lifting up your eyes and concentrating there, you will find it easier to enter the state of ecstasy. That is why saints in every religion have often been observed during states of deep inner communion with their eyes uplifted, focused on the inner light, white, as Jesus said, already harvest. The Bhagavad Gita goes further into this meditative teaching. In the 6th chapter it states, holding the spine firm, the neck and head erect and motionless, let the yogi focus his eyes at the starting place of the nose, the point between the eyebrows. Let not his gaze roam elsewhere. In meditation, tell yourself, I have him already. I am alive forever in the divine light. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind.
And good morning once again. It is so joyful and delightful to see all of you and to be with everyone. And happy Father's Day once again. It's also, like Arnav said, the Divine Father's Day. The qualities of the Father we all know the qualities of Divine Mother because on our path we tend to align ourselves mostly with the Divine Mother, but the qualities of Father are also needed to be wholesome and complete in our evolution, and that would be perhaps courage, calmness, wisdom, expansion, confidence. Those are all fatherly qualities. Protecting the family. Bless me that I may know that I am dreaming, even though my senses tell me I am awake. These are readings from Whispers from Eternity, a book of poems and prayers by Paramahansa Ananda. As we rest in sleep, wake in the morning to our daily round of desperate seeming, but only half-conscious activity, and then fall back to sleep again at night, so also do we pass fleetingly from birth to life to death again, waking ever and again in new bodies, dashing about our appointments and other commitments, delighting in them or groaning at their importunity, then finding ourselves forced to leave everything at death's next summons. Dream after dream of ceaseless earthly struggles. On the sleigh of incarnations, we find ourselves sliding by hopes and disappointments, victories and failures, fulfillments and disillusionments. When the smooth snow of easy passage melts, and the underlying ice of insecurity breaks, we find ourselves plunged into heaving seas, eddies of gay, then desperate laughter, sargassos of cloying involvements, vast calms of indifference, all only dreams. When at last I awoke in thee, I discovered that I'd been dreaming all along. I'd only thought I was awake. So our topic today is the eternal now. Can I have one of these? So time is a very interesting thing and perhaps very difficult to understand. So before we go into that, perhaps maybe we should take a moment to contemplate on what is the eternal now? Why is it important that we live in it? And most importantly, how can we live in it? So it's very easy for us to fall into the trap of the sense of time. I mean, look around us, right? We all grow, we see little babies around us and in ourselves, and we grow up, and then gradually we get older. All about time. The moon is going around the earth in 4 weeks, and the sun and the earth is going around the sun in about a year, and everything is being measured in seemingly timely fashion. But that is the way of the world, the material plane. In reality, time and space, we are told, are both illusions. It doesn't exist. We all know, including ourselves, we know people who love to live in the past, right? I had a friend, a dear friend, and very close to her, but she came almost at the same time from India with me, and if you speak to her, spend some time with her, you will know that she had had a very hard time in the past. And her poor husband also will be reminded every time they have a difference how much she had gone through the problems for him, and how his success is here today because of all the troubles she had taken. She lives in that. And then we all know how, we always live in the future. The future is going to be better. The future is the bright one that we are always looking up to. And we miss the eternal now. That is that junction of that past and future where we should be. So, you heard us sing that beautiful song. Thank you, Gordon. The words are, let's ponder on these words. Men hunger for freedom, but don't see their dungeon, is only the thought that they are bound. Desires are their shackles, the hope that tomorrow the doorway of joy will be found. And so Swamiji is saying in the next paragraph, there's joy all around us. Why wait till tomorrow? We've only this moment to live. A heaven within us is ours for the finding of freedom no riches can give. This kind of tells us exactly, right? The eternal now is that sense of the timelessness, which is the true nature of our being. I came across this book called We the Arcturians. I don't know. Has anyone read that book? We the Arcturians? So Arcturus, it's a fascinating book, and I don't spend too much time on it, but I have to share this. The Arcturians are, to give you a background, Arcturus is a star. It's about 4 light years away, I believe, from us. And so the book starts with this woman and her 2 women friends, lady friends. She is highly educated. She's a professor in a university, but I think she has always had an awareness, the intuition, so to say. So she finds herself with these weird experiences she doesn't understand, but long story short, there are these beings that are trying to communicate We know these masters. We know Paramahansa Yogananda is the avatar of the new yuga that we have found ourselves in. We are going into a higher age. Some of us know this already. And so I can totally see how the divine plan is sending many avenues to get us all ready for this higher age. And we all know, if you think about it, does energy come into our vocabulary these days? Doesn't it? We all say, whether we understand the energy or not, we all say, oh, the energy in this room was just wonderful, or the energy in that room was really bad, and oh, that energy was so good, the energy drinks that we see all around us, right? Much can be said about that, but anyways. So energy is all around us. We are going into an age of energy. And so the Arcturians, having come to this, I used to be, both my husband and I had very skeptical minds. And then gradually our skepticism has really, really gone down over the years after we have found this path. But there is still a skepticism in me, when I read such something like that, the first thing is, where's the proof? And I, is this all, made up? Was she dreaming? But what surprised me, when pages and pages in the communication that she writes, it is just it felt like teachings of masters. Absolutely. It was just stunning how, and then I reminded myself, the truth is the same. The truth is not different. And so they are saying we have evolved, they call Earth the Terra. So Terra, you're like our little sister. You are evolving to a phase where we have already been there. So we are in the third dimension. And some of us who have, read Sri Yukteswar's book, very scientific book, he talks about these 7 layers of existence, of frequency. We understand that. So in the third dimension, we are vibrating with a frequency which makes us feel everything is matter. And we were bound in matter for all this time. And very recently, we've begun to realize it's all about energy. Science is telling us it's a frequency of those electrons that makes this book different from the air. Otherwise, in the essential building block, it is the same. It's just the frequency of how they're vibrating. And so they are in the 5th dimension, 2 dimensions above us. And they talk about few things that is very hard to comprehend. I have to be honest, I didn't understand few things. But essentially, I totally got the understanding that they're saying, for us, space and time doesn't exist. We are not bound by that anymore. And that's why they are able to travel, 4 light years? It's an incomprehensible. They have broken down the barrier of time and space, which, if you remember, the teachings tell us we will in the Treta Yuga. By the end of this yuga, we will be communicating by telepathy, right? And they are also telepathically communicating with this woman. And they explain in details how telepathy works. And again, I just saw this come up. What does their society look like? Because they still live together. Their society looks a little different. They don't have any competition on their existence level anymore. Why? Because they've understood everything is one. That's exactly what we are trying to understand in our meditation, our oneness. God is like an ocean, and we are little waves on that, and when the waves go back to the bosom of the ocean, there's no separation, and we are all one in that sense, and they already have comprehended that. And so there is no sense of separateness. There's no need to compete. They don't have to wait. They are not, waiting for their last day. It's like an accomplishment. They have to finish their task, whatever has been assigned to them, and then they have graduated that level, and then they're going to move on to the next level. So it was really an interesting read, and if you feel like drawn to it, please definitely read that. So that brings us to how do we, if there is no time, we are living in timelessness, and the sense of time is just a delusion. Very easily said. How do we actually perceive that? Well, we can meditate on it. And if you want to, we can do a quick exercise right now. If you want to close your eyes And just visualize you are in space. So there is space above you, beneath you, all around you. There is nothing. There's just the nothingness of space, and you are floating in the space. There is no sense of length, breadth, or height. And then feel that time is not moving, that time doesn't exist. There is nothing called time. And if you want to add to that visualization, you are sitting on the Divine's lap. And if you see her as she, it's Divine Mother, and you're sitting on your mother's lap. She's all around you, inside you and out. There's nothing besides her. And you begin to think, even you don't exist separately. You are one with her. And in that existence, there is no sense of space or time. And you can open your eyes now. But this is something that we can meditate. And then we begin perhaps to get a glimpse, because it's difficult for us. We are bound in this dimension of length, breadth, and height and time. But in meditation, we find that freedom and we begin to understand what this is all about. We have been put in a very good movie show. And I'll tell you, because I've told this before and I'll tell you again, it is so hard. Try this and you'll see how hard it is. Knowingly sit in front of a movie, in front of your TV screen or in a movie hall, and make a resolve, I will not get drawn into the movie. Every moment, I will retain my separateness from the movie. Try it and see how hard it is. It is impossible. Can you imagine then this movie show put by Divine Mother with how many senses now? Like, right, not only the 3-dimension, but there is the sense of, smell and touch and taste. We are immersed in this. You can say it's a ploy, right? To keep us all engaged. But at some point, I can speak for many of us in this room, we got tired. I want out of this. I want to know what it really is. And then we start hearing voices like the masters, the ascended masters, who have actually gone beyond our limiting dimensions. And they come back to tell us, you can do it. In fact, you will do it. That is our destiny. That is our divine destiny. If we don't know it, we are still evolving. Isn't that beautiful? We are still evolving, maybe very slowly. Master used to say, if you don't lift a finger in an effort to find God, you'll still be moving towards God, because there's no other destination for our existence. Just as surely as the river flows to the ocean, where else will it go? Similarly, we, in our evolution, natural evolution, sure, it can take infinity. There's no time, remember? So if you want, it can take you infinite amount of time, so to speak, to find God. And Master Paramahansa Yogananda says, we take time to find God because we are bound to this time consciousness. Because of our understanding of the space and time, the convoluted understanding of space and time, we push God away. We keep her separate from us. In reality, it is that story from the Vedanta. God is we are immersed in God. There is nothing besides God. And it's like the story goes, so in the ocean, these are the little fishes, and so the little fishes are taking classes with their fish teacher. And the fish teacher says, little ones, today we're going to learn about water. And the little fishes says, water? What is that? That's us. We are little fishes in the ocean and we don't know we are immersed in God. And how do we know that? Why? So just think for a moment, it's very logical. Why don't we? Because we are so engrossed, because of our senses. You're so engrossed in this world. We don't have the capacity to know anything beyond that. And so Master says, close your sense telephones. Shut them down one by one. And make your body still. We're talking about meditation. There is no other way to find our real existence without learning to meditate. And as we begin to meditate, we know it's a long process. It'll take us probably our lifetimes, and who knows, multiple lifetimes, to actually find the truth of what it actually is. And when we stumble upon that truth, we will also know who we are. It kind of, it's enmeshed together. We are part of that truth, and the truth is part of us. So you can say self-realization is finding God, and when we find God, we will realize ourselves. And we will know that there was never any separateness. Anthony, just the same I was with you. So the story of Saint Anthony, who was out in the desert for years, 40 years, I think, 50 years, going through a lot of trouble because most of it is in the mind. And he's fighting his desires, all these tests are coming to him, but he's desperate to find God, and he will not leave his desert solitude before finding God. And after all those anguishing years, finally God comes to him, and he calls out, "Lord, why weren't you there when I called out to you? When I was suffering so much, why didn't you come to me?" And what the Lord replies, "Anthony, just the same I was with you. I was with you all of the way. It's just that you didn't know that I was there." And that is the reality for us. So the point between the eyebrows is the seat of spiritual experiences. That is why we always look up to this point in meditation. And the advice is that even after meditation, when we are going about our business, try to be here. Those of us who are disciples, we can say Om Guru here, or you can say whatever, whatever reminds you of the divine. You can just chant that at this point. It's very important to keep our focus at that point. Science tells us that is a very evolved part of our brain. In fact, they have looked at the brains of meditators and non-meditators. I mean, this is pretty old news actually, right? And that the brain starts to look different. It starts to look like the different parts of the brain lighting up in response to the stimulus changes because of meditation. We don't react the same way as we used to do before. Things cannot make us that angry. Maybe sometimes we still lose our control, but most of the time, 8 out of 10 times, we're able to keep our composure. So we see a progress happening within ourselves and our friends around us. Another key to understanding the eternal now is being mindful. The mindfulness that is taught by, I think, Tibetan meditation is exactly this. Being aware of every moment, not living in the past, which we tend to do, or, all the time planning for the future, right? Nope, just being here, from moment to moment. When we practice doing that, we suddenly start realizing it is so much, so much more fuller and meaningful, just being grateful for every moment, seeing it as a gift from the divine. And again, very easily said than done. I can only prescribe meditation. To be able to be aware of that moment, we have to develop certain aspects of our consciousness, which has to be there. Otherwise, we won't be able to live from moment to moment. And to be aware of energy. Even the Arcturians are talking about it's energy, energy, energy. So just to be aware of the energy, and what are the 2 things that dictate our own energy? 2 things, basically. If we are able to live in joy, holding on to joy as a tool, not as a result. Most of us, joy will come, happiness will come to me only, no. You start the sentence with, happiness is already mine. Again, meditation gives us a taste of that unconditional joy, which is already within us. We don't have to look anywhere. It is already within us. We just have to tap into it. And you're sitting on 405, stuck in traffic, behind your wheels, and you don't know why, but just joy comes bubbling up and you're so happy. And people are honking and you feel like smiling at them and giving them a hug. Or you're doing your grocery and you just bless the people in front of you and joy just fills your heart. We can live in that joy every moment of our lives, and it's important we do, because it uplifts our energy even more. It pushes our energy up. Joy is the movement of energy upward, and if we know how to pull our energy up, which Kriya Yoga teaches you, then yes, you have control over your happiness all the time. And then the other thing that an energy damper is the no saying principle. The more we say no to life, energy is not flowing. You're hindering the flow of energy. The more you can say yes, something is in front of me and it looks difficult, but just say yes first. And I know, practically speaking, we can't say yes to everything, right? How about when we know we can say yes to it, we say no, but instead of that, I can do this. You see how you're emphasizing on the yes? So I feel like these are two very important markers for us, the joy and our yes saying principle. With these two, energy is boundless. And we have our good friend Harana here, and I'm going to put him on the spot and say, every time you say something to him, he say, by all means. That's a secret to his boundless energy. He has determined his mind to say, I'm going to say yes, and I'll think of it later on. That's something we can all learn from. So with that energy now, when we have a lot of energy. Energy is the cooking oil. And with that cooking oil now, we can cook with the divine. Because without energy, you sit down to meditate, you go into subconscious. You start dozing, you'll fall asleep. With energy, when we sit down to meditate, you actually feel the presence of God in many forms. And it's very individual for each one of us. It's for us to explore. It's an infinite universe that is just waiting to be explored. And then the last thing is, in this timelessness, so why should we live in the moment? Because that's where God is. God is in the moment. Divine Mother is right behind our very thought. She's right behind. You think you are thinking? You think you are loving? You think you are doing? You are listening? You are sitting? You won't be able to. Picture really, I've always held on to this picture. It helps me to remind my role in this world. During sunset, when you look up, these clouds look so beautiful, colors of gold, orange, red, pink. Beautiful, right? You watch the same cloud, the sun shifts. Have you seen those clouds after the sunlight has passed it? It's nothing. You don't feel like looking at them. That's who we really are. We don't exist without God. We are nothing without God. Everything is being animated by Divine Mother's energy. So we live in that moment of God's presence within us. And if we can think, we have to live every moment knowing I have God already. Affirm that, because that is true. It's just a shift of our understanding, which will happen, and we'll realize we've always had God. We just have to realize it, that we have. And I'll close with this beautiful story that affirms that we have to live in that affirmation we have already. So there was this great saint, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Some of you may know him. He's from the eastern part of India. And he had these disciples, and he was in that mood one day that the disciples were asking him, Master, when will I find God? And he'll say, oh, maybe 2 more lifetimes. And another person said, maybe 3 lifetimes. Oh, you will find him at the end of this lifetime. And then his most, his chief disciple, the most advanced disciple, I think he was not with him, but he was a little far away. And they asked, what about him? Expecting that he'll probably find God the soonest. And he said, oh, him? Oh, it'll take him millions of lifetimes to find God. And everyone was just silent, shocked to hear that. And then I think the news reached him that the Guru has said he'll take millions of lifetimes. And he starts dancing in joy. He said, it's so beautiful. And he danced, and everyone was again shocked. He said, what's wrong with you? Why are you dancing? He said, didn't you hear? He said, I'll find God. He said, I'll find God. I will find God. And he danced and danced, and the guru came and just touched him. He was ready. Just touched him, and he went into ecstasy and found God at that moment. So blessings, my dear ones. Let's all live in the eternal now. So let's take a moment of silence, and then we'll have the choir. But let's just take a moment. Feel our heart's willingness, our readiness to find God at this moment. Choir. So we have choir now.
Peace gave us the mountains, peace gave us the sky, nightly when starlight enfolds us, peace is its lullaby. Amen. Peace gave us the morning, peace gave us the sun, bird songs that call us to welcome day and fresh labors begun. Amen. Peace gave us the seasons, peace gave us the rain, cool clouds that gather to bless us, mist hands that soothe away pain. Amen. Amen. Peace gave us our heart's love, peace gave us our smiles, rays of God's presence with